Alright, little dirt bike never showed up, but Mike did. And that's good because he's going to check everything out and he's looking it up. He's giving a preliminary there, see if I hooked everything up right.
Yeah.
And he gave the approval. But we're going to take it outside. It hasn't been started since I put it back together, so we don't know if it's going to make juice or not, but if it don't, I got the right guy here.
We'll figure it out.
Alright, let's roll it outside. You know, it's a nice day today too. It's about 50, 60 degrees out. Alright, we'll see you guys outside.
Right.
Alright, we're outside here. We still got some daylight. Mike's got his hearing protection ready and his meter ready.
Yep.
So we're good to go.
Yeah, we're plugged into the 240 volt receptacle on this thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll see what we got here.
Alright.
Fuel is off.
Alright, Mike just got done adjusting everything. He adjusted it for, that's what you're saying, he was adjusting it for 60 hertz, Mike?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to get the frequency right so we know the engine's at the correct speed.
Okay.
But we don't have any output. What we have is just like barely residual magnetism out of the generator end. So we have to now go and check the field output. So we got to make sure that we're getting output from the field winding in the generator to the brushes to the rotor.
Right.
So we're going to check that out.
A couple guys did that. They said that, you know, maybe the field went bad or something. So. Yeah,
well, we can check the stator quite easily right here at these wires. We'll do that first since that's the easiest thing to do right now. We'll make sure that the stator's not open circuit. And we can check the field resistance by taking the rectifier out and measuring at the two wires to go to the brushes. We'll make sure that we don't have an open circuit there or we don't have a high resistance. I have no idea what it should be, but based on my experience, it should be somewhere, I don't know, between 10 and 15 or 20 ohms or something like that through the main rotor. So we'll do that.
All right, let's go.
All right.
What you doing now, buddy?
Okay, so we just took this is line 1 and line 2 off for the 240 volt receptacle. So these are the two hots that come out of the generator end. And the center tap, or the neutral, is this number 33 right here. That's going right to ground. So they have the neutral and ground bonded on this particular generator. So check my lead resistance is 0.2 of an ohm. So I'll just check the stator resistance, 0.5 an ohm. Oops, sorry. 0.5 an ohm there, and we'll check. Get a bad connection there. I'm gonna have to take that wire off. Got a lot of dirt and corrosion here.
Okay. Let me go get you. That's like 5/16, I think.
I got it. I got it.
You got it. All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looks like the stator's good. If we really wanted to check it out, you know what? If you could grab that 5/16, I'll check and make sure it's not going to ground. Okay. Like we don't have a short anywhere. So.
All right.
All right.
Don't go away.
Thank you.
Well, shit. How you making it now, buddy?
Well, it looks like you might have a problem on the inside here, buddy boy.
What's going on?
Well, so these here are your main output connections here. So you got L1 and L2, and then the center tap, which is going to be the neutral, really. So really, you should have 120 volt here, and then 120 volt here, and then 240 volt from either one of these. Now, there's the stator winding tests okay, but the main problem is that you've got a connection to ground. So really, what you're going to see, I've got one probe here, and I'm going to go to ground. I've got pretty much a dead short to ground here on the stator winding.
Right.
So that means something maybe nicked on the inside, something might be burned, and I'm getting continuity to ground, which you should never have in this case. Now I've
Right.
completely isolated the stator windings. So like originally the neutral wire was bonded to ground, but that's been removed. So, and then I've even removed the rectifier. So the two field output wires from the stator, which go to the brushes, they've been, that's totally been disconnected. So
Right.
pretty much we're gonna have to take the back end off and slide the stator off, which won't be hard to do, and just take a quick look and make sure there's nothing obvious, like maybe one of these wires in here is nicked somewhere.
You know what I noticed, Mike?
What's that?
If you look here in the sunshine, look how much, I don't know if the guys could see that, but there's an awful lot of metallic shavings.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you know
You see it?
what's likely is that, and I've actually seen this before on a Generac generator, that...
I think this is a Generac.
Oh, you're right, it is a
Yeah,
Generac.
yeah.
You are right. When that bearing failed, what may have happened was that the rotor, while the thing was running, crashed into the stator.
Yeah.
And that could certainly cause a short to ground somewhere. I actually saw one of those home standby Generacs where it continued to run, and it actually shot pieces of wire out the side, and the whole inside of the enclosure was full of little pieces of wire. It was a nightmare.
I don't think that this bearing failed, Mike. I think somebody destroyed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because everything was pretty much in good shape there.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had a problem inside there, and they couldn't get to that bearing. I couldn't get that bearing off without destroying it. So.
All right. Well, let's wheel it inside,
Okay.
and it's like I said, it's gonna be pretty easy to take this thing apart. So
Okay.
we'll do it.
All right. We're gonna meet you guys inside.
Good plan.
All right. Yeah, Mike. He had the front plate off here, and he checked it out. And what'd you come up with, Mike?
Well, right off the bat, like I said before, we know that the stator's got some continuity to ground, so we're a little skeptical about that. But when we had the back end off, the back plate, one of the brush leads actually, it's like a fine braided copper. It actually just ripped out of the back of the brush.
Right.
So we had to just...
Oh yeah, it was inside that
right,
the insulation.
plastic. Yeah. Well, yeah. Exactly.
Because I checked the stator, and the stator seemed, not the stator, but the rectifier seemed good. So I never did check the brushes.
Right, well, we put them back to making contact now, and we took the rectifier off, and I actually checked at the rectifier connector that we've got continuity from the wires through the brushes, through the main rotor, back out the brushes to the connector. So you got a circuit there for the field.
Okay.
And like you said, the rectifier tests good with the meter. So
Okay.
we're gonna see if we start it back up again and it lets out a big fireball and some smoke. We'll know. If it just makes a couple volts, then
Then we got a generator.
yeah, we'll see.
All right, go ahead. Now, we're gonna keep it rolling. See if it starts, buddy.
Okay, let me make sure the fuel's on. Yeah, it's on.
Not looking good, huh, buddy?
No, I mean, so I'm getting about half a volt AC from the stator to the rectifier and about 0.7 of a volt DC out of the rectifier to the brushes. So that should be enough to get the cycle going to start making output voltage, but we're not. We've got virtually zero voltage between from line to line. It's like 0.13 volts. So the only thing we can do is to double check and make sure that the rotor's good, or just to check the generator end itself, would be to get a power supply out, take the rectifier away, and apply like a couple volts, maybe 5 or so volts, directly to the brushes, DC voltage, and that will tell us if it's a field problem or if it's a stator problem or what.
Okay. All right. Our problems are deeper than a brush or a wire, so.
Right. I mean, this is a pretty simple generator end, so it looks like that. In a simple unit like this, if something's bad, it's usually the generator.
Yeah. And taking this off, it's just no easy task taking this.
No, I thought it was
Separating
going
it.
to be, but this generator end is almost backwards. If you're familiar with these, the fan is at the back, and like the plastic fan itself has the slip rings embedded in it, and the slip rings are tied directly into the rotor windings. So really, you can't slip the stator off the rotor because of the fan is at the back, and you can't clear the windings with the fan.
Right.
So really, what you've got to do is take the rotor and the stator off of the engine as an assembly. Well, that's really difficult to do with the stator on because the rotor is on a taper on the engine's crankshaft. So you've got to break that taper without being able to get down to it, you know, to put like heel bars or a pry bar under there.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll fiddle with it a little bit more, see if we can do it now that we know we got nothing to lose.
Right. It's done. It's
So,
garbage now.
If it breaks into a useless, you know, piece of junk, well then.
So be it.
We're there now. We've
That's
got
right.
something that doesn't work as it is.
That's it. Then I'm out $10.
Right.
Oh well. All right. Well, let's take it inside and see if we get this off.
You gotta go. That's that SEARS number on there. What is
Yeah.
it? 8-horse engine or?
No, I think it's 6.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Back inside.
All right.
All right. After a lot of thought, we got some leverage on here with a couple of pry bars, and we incorporate our little buddy,
Hey, buddy.
little dirt bike, and me and him put some leverage on the back of it. Mike threw some muscle into the front here, and we're able to dislocate this from its taper. So now we can take it apart and take a look inside.
Yeah, looks like we didn't do any damage to the taper, so let's take it apart.
All right. We might have to. I guess we don't have to. I think we're gonna have to take some more parts off, but.
No, actually, that thing should just pull off as an assembly. It should be pretty nice.
Let's see if we can do that.
All right, here you go.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it rolling. Keep it rolling, buddy.
Okay. Take our driver pin out of there.
Look at that teamwork.
Yeah. This whole thing should just kind of come on right off of there.
Look at that. Look at that. That just
Careful
that,
that engine don't tip forward on you.
yeah, just that little taper. That ain't much of a taper, Mike.
No, you can see it looks like it was contacting about a little over an inch right there. That's it.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't think we didn't even damage the threads.
Huh. Wow. Good work, buddy.
All right, let's take this rotor out of the stator.
All right. You want to take this off the table so you have some room to work?
We can do that.
All right. All right. I'm gonna help Mike. All right. We'll see what we got, Mike.
All right, let's take the rotor out of the stator here.
Huh. That rust don't affect, does it?
No, but I'll guarantee you that it was rubbing right here.
Huh.
That's why
Remember I told you I started seeing some
some particulate.
particulate, yeah.
Looks like we didn't damage anything coming out. We were prying right under here, right on that lip, and we didn't nick the rotor or anything. It looks okay. I think, remember we tested this, it was 45 ohms, so kind of have to be careful of that plastic thing there. But the stator is where our problem was. The stator was going to ground. So where's my flashlight at? Let's see if we can identify any potential issues here.
Yeah, I see up top it was rubbing here.
Yeah, definitely rubbing right there.
Maybe the bearing was bad.
Maybe. A little bit of heat. Oh, wait a minute.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I don't know. I'm looking right here and see how that wire's pulled real tight there?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna have to clean that up and see if we got short to ground there.
Huh.
If we got ground continuity,
Then we have damage.
look around here. See how these all have these insulating sleeves all high up, and then there's conveniently missing right there.
Wow.
Let's look on the other end. The other end looks nice all the way around,
How about that?
but it looks like typical Generac quality.
Yeah.
They shorted themselves. Ah, that was a problem.
Oh! Stop it! Stop it, Mike! He kills me. So a factory defect.
Well, let's clean it up and see. Let's not make assumptions.
Yeah, don't make assumptions. You know what that means.
I do.
Alright. We'll get back to you guys. Alright, buddy, tell me what's going on here.
Well, I just brought some contact cleaner, and we're gonna spray it up and clean it up and see if we can see anything. But I just mentioned that you can see that there's 2 gauges of wire here. Like in this channel, there's thin gauge wire, you know, and then it looks like, I don't know, maybe 20 gauge wire there, and then you've got a larger gauge wire like here, and that looks like it's probably 18 gauge wire. and that's the outputs. That's like line 1 and line 2. And then the thin gauge wire is the AC output to the rectifier, which feeds the field. And you can see that there's 2 windings here. So you got a winding on this side, and you got a winding on this side. Those are your 2, that's like hot and hot, line 1 and line 2. And then they're connected in the center, and that's where you get your neutral from, which is in this case this wire right here. So let's let me spray that up a little bit with some of this stuff and try to wipe that grit away. See if we can see where the short is, if there is one.
What'd you find, buddy?
Got my Sherlock Holmes magnifying glass here. I'm looking closely at this one, well, these 2 strands of wire in particular right here, where they kind of come out at a hard angle. From there.
They look tight.
Right, and I can see behind there what looks like shiny copper.
Yeah, so turn your light off, bud. Let me see what's on. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Now tell me what it is, because that was too bright. It was creating glare. Go ahead.
Well, what I see behind there is like shiny pieces of copper.
I can see it, yeah.
Like almost like there was an arc there, and there's cleaned pieces of copper that are back there. And I'm really surprised it's not more dramatic looking.
Right.
But we'll see. Maybe it was, I don't know, it's hard to say what happened. But what I think, the only thing we can do right now, we know we've got a short to ground. So we're going to start cutting these threads and then pulling up the windings out of this pocket one at a time. Just, pull them up and just to see if we can see anything obvious.
Yeah, or repair it. If not, then...
if it's something repairable, then we can deal with it. If it's something that's not, then we have some scrap metal.
That's it. We got an engine.
Right.
Okay, let's cut some more. Let's cut some of that thread.
Alright.
Hey, Megan, out of here, buddy.
Well, it's kind of a pain, but I got most of the twine cut around this outside here, and I've pulled up the output leads. And I'm just starting to pull out one winding, wire by wire, from that problem area. And I'm using this little plastic Glass Depot. I guess that's a gasket scraper or something.
Yeah, for pulling gaskets out.
Yeah. Well, that works really well for pulling these individual wires out, breaking them away from the cluster here, because this whole thing, once it was wound, was dipped in varnish. So these are like a solid mass here, you have to chisel away at them to pull them away one by one, but you can't use anything metallic because you'll remove the insulation, the varnish insulation. So you kind of just have to work at them. And I pulled the first one off here, and I don't know if you can see. You see that the shiny spot there? That's what we saw. So you can see it even more so now.
Turn your light out. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, yours is creating more of a glare.
Okay.
Here we go. Yeah, I think you can see it. I think you guys can see that. Oh, we just lost focus.
I think I'm gonna pull another winding or 2 out of there, and see if we can't, identify that fault there. So, all right.
All right, keep going, buddy. Mike just called me over there. He says he's found something relevant.
Well, yeah, it looks like. So this looks like what we were seeing in there. It doesn't look like a mechanical break. It looks like something shorted and it kind of like just arced off of there.
Yeah, turn your light out. There you go.
Can you see it?
Yeah, you can see it better this way.
And then you can see the adjoining side.
Show me one sticking up there.
This one here?
That's the break. Yeah, that's the break right there. Dead short.
Well, right. Well, what happened is it must have arced some, for whatever reason. The insulation got nicked and it arced to ground, which ground and neutral are tied together, remember? So that was a short, it was a short somewhere in the winding, so there wasn't full voltage potential between this point and ground. It wasn't like there was 240 volts here and ground. There was some voltage. I can't say how much, but it was enough to burn that wire off of its other end inside there, and in doing so it made a connection to ground. You can see now that I've got, previously we had a dead short to ground. Now if I take one on the stator windings and one to ground, what do we have? A couple 200K. So, you know, there's still some leakage probably down through there to ground, but, you know, now that I've removed that wire, it's significantly higher. So,
Right. So what do you think?
well, I'm not going to repair it.
Yeah, okay. All right, so it's junk.
Yeah, it's junk.
Okay. Well, there you go. We found a problem, and it isn't worth fixing.
No.
Mike could take it home and rewire it, but he got too much to do to
Oh
fix
yeah,
his
like
garbage.
this is, you know, this
Yeah.
generator's not worth
No,
$50 when it's running, you know.
no, you're right.
So,
Oh well.
it's the way she goes, you know.
We'll throw it all out, and we'll save the engine, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was
It was interesting.
engine night project. That's what
we
it was.
figured it
was
out.
Engine night material.
Yeah.
So,
I was hoping I'd get away with that broken wire. I mean, it had a couple of issues. It had broken wire, and then it had the brush, and then it had that.
yeah, and you know, we're bearing it overall, you know.
Yeah. So.
But you know, I wonder what happened first. I have a feeling that it was just a manufacturing flaw where the insulating
out.
sleeves weren't the proper length and they weren't
Yep.
inserted correctly, and then
Yep.
after time, vibration, and like heat cycles, it failed. I mean, I could be wrong. It could have been one than the other, because if the bearing failed, the stator, I should say, the rotor was definitely hitting the stator. And it was hitting right in that area, so I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. Because you can see where it's polished smooth there, or polished bright, and then all the way around the stator is still the natural finish, and you can see on the rotor here.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it was striking here, but not here.
Right.
So that bearing was going bad, or was already bad, or somebody messed with it and then tried to run it. So who knows?
Oh well.
You know, like you said, it could be rewound. We could probably pull that wire out the other end and splice it and just not run it through, and they'd have, you know, 1/2 less turn, you know, if we just jumped it somewhere else, and it wouldn't make any difference in reality. But you know, it's then you have to put all these wires back, relay the thing down, and you'd probably have to respray it or redip it, because I'm sure that I nicked some of the insulation. Even though I was careful and I was using this little plastic thing,
Yeah.
I probably damaged some of the varnish, the clear insulating varnish. So really, it's, you know, if you're not going to rewind it all the way, you know,
Yeah, if you're not gonna do it right, don't do
you're
it.
going to end up with something that may work, it may not, and it, like I said, it's only a $50 generator to begin
Yeah.
with, you know.
It's a shame because there's some poor bastard out there who probably needs this.
Yeah, well,
Good luck finding him.
you know, buy and own it.
Yeah.
There you go, buy and
All
own
right.
it.
All right. Well, there you go. We're gonna call it quits on this. I mean, we didn't want to go this deep into it, and at least we found out what the problem was, and we learned a little something about these old generators. If we see them, walk past them.
That's right.
All right. All right, Mike. Thanks a lot, buddy.
All right.
Say goodbye.
So long. Bye now.
All right, tubes. Enough of this.